This program has been made possible in part by Webs, America's Yarn Store, a source for knitting and crocheting yarns and supplies. Yarn.com.
I'm here with Mathew Gnagy, who's a knitwear designer as well as an author, and he has a really unique approach to sweater design, with sweaters that kind of break out of the box and knit a little bit off the straight axis. Welcome, Mathew.
Hi, Eunny. Thank you.
So your design sensibility is really unusual.
Well, thank you. It comes from years of being a pattern maker. I started drafting paper patterns when I was a teenager and making costumes, and this has really grown into a great way to achieve fantastic shapes with sweaters and knitting. Because you start with a nice design, you start with a good paper draft, and you can work your way up to something really incredible.
Well, something that I really love about your work is how sculptural it is. This sweater over here is really stunning.
Well, thank you. This is, I think, one of the showpieces. It really has a great structure, it has a great drape, and it's really unusual in the way it works. Can I show you the back?
Absolutely. It kind of all starts here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is really the focal point of this garment, and it's really reminiscent of Victorian lines. So it starts in the normal way. The back is actually knit straight, and then
From the bottom up?
From the bottom up, and then you pick stitches up along the sides and work your way around to the front. So you cast on here, you've got your increases, and where it begins to get interesting is here at the armhole, where you turn a couple of very small short rows to shape, to bring this into alignment. And then you work your way up and then shape the shoulders with just regular decreases.
And then you pick up stitches along the side, is that right? And they wrap all the way around to the front?
Exactly. You pick them up here along the side back seam and just work your way toward the front. And the armhole is where it gets really fascinating.
And let's take a look at just how that swirls around, because it's so beautiful.
Shall I lift the sleeve here?
You can actually turn the whole sweater.
So you can see it creates this wonderful line, and this curve here on the side back brings it into a really nice hollow for the waist and the hip.
Beautiful. Well, so take us into, is this the first step in your pattern making?
It is, it is. I have a sketch, and then I lay it out depending on what size I want. And then I just draw it out in pencil, and I mark the crucial points, like this little line right here denotes this little panel of moss stitch, and all the full fashioning happens just to the inside of that along this line.
So really informed by pattern drafting.
Absolutely. All your mathematics takes place right here.
Well, and you have something to compare against as you're knitting.
Absolutely. You can finish your knitting, you can lay it down and double check and make sure that you've got the right size.
Well, that sounds good to have a fail-safe. So show us what we're actually working on here. It seems like short rows are really integral to the fit of this project.
Absolutely. I really don't think that you can have such a fantastic shape without having some complicated shaping inside. So we're working on this point right here is what we're going to go into, and there are two little groups of short rows that cross the moss stitch. They turn right here as you get into the stockinette and go right back out. And what that does is it just evens out this line right here, which is on a slight angle, to something straight, so you can work your way up the armhole.
So take us right into it.
Great. So here we are, about to begin.
And we should explain that short rows are literally exactly what they sound like. They're rows that are just a little bit shorter, or a lot shorter, than the full width of the knitting.
All right, so to wrap the short row, you're going to slip the stitch to the right needle. The yarn goes in front and goes around to the back, and then that needle gets slipped back onto, the stitch gets slipped back onto the left needle, and you simply turn the work.
And why do we wrap a short row?
If you don't wrap a short row and you simply turn and go back the other direction, you end up with a rather substantial hole in your knitting, and we really don't want that. We're not trying to do an eyelet pattern. We want it to be closed.
And you're just working in the moss stitch pattern.
Exactly.
So we've worked one short row.
One short row done.
And is this next short row even shorter, or is it the same?
It's actually one stitch longer.
Oh, I see.
So here we are with our short row wrap, and you see how it's around the base of the stitch there? To get it to fall to the back of the work, we're going to slip our needle into that stitch, and then into the actual stitch, and we're going to knit it.
Knit them together.
Knit them together, and you see how that just popped right to the back?
Great.
And then we wrap, and turn, and then finish the row again.
And just those 2 short rows have kind of angled us and set us up for...
Exactly, set us up for the nice little straight section.
So now show me what's going on here.
Okay. Once that's done, you finish out the back, and then you turn the work, and you pick up stitches right here along the side back. And we have some double gartered to give it a little bit of elasticity. You can see how that stretches right there. We work our way in, and there's some small, increases that happen right here to begin the shaping. Then, using a cable cast on, we add all of these stitches in. And if you were to just cast them on and knit straight, you just end up with a straight line here and then work your way forward. But we really want this dramatic shaping because it really aids in using this kind of shoulder seam as well as just keeping the hole in a nice curvature so that it actually fits the physiology well.
And we can make sure that people understand that this is actually where the seam falls.
Exactly.
So quickly, show us how you would finish off that row.
Okay, so I have to pull all this over here.
I'll help you.
Thank you.
So now we're still casting on the last few stitches?
Exactly.
Is that right?
We have 5 stitches. And for those of you that haven't seen a cable cast on, you have a stitch, you slip the needle between, grab up the yarn, bring it through, and then place it on the needle. And we're going to do that for 5 stitches. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to begin our short rows. So I'm going to do 2 stitches, wrap, and turn. Purl 2 stitches back because we're doing this in stockinette. Wrap and turn. And then you're going to go to those 2 stitches and then pick up your wrap, knit the stitch, knit 1 more, and then wrap and turn again.
So progressively longer short rows.
Progressively longer short rows. And depending on how many stitches you work before you wrap and turn, it can alter the angle that you're knitting at. So we're doing this every 2 stitches, which is going to create a really severe angle. If you want a shallower angle, then you would put more stitches between each wraps. There, I picked up the wrap and knit it again, knit 1, and then wrap and turn again.
Well, that's gorgeous. And so you would just continue doing that all the way
Exactly.
across
You
that
just
shoulder
continue
area.
doing it all the way until the point where the pattern says that you should stop.
This is fabulous. And this yarn has great drape. It works really well for this.
Yeah, it's actually a really great yarn. It's 100% extra fine merino, and it's also superwash, but you can see that it's got great stitch definition. It's extremely easy to knit with. It's a lovely yarn.
Absolutely gorgeous. Now that it's laid flat, we can see how the whole sweater works. Thanks so much, Matthew.
You're welcome, Eunny. Thank you.